Welcome back, guys. Today we're fitting the body over the rolling chassis on the Mini Model S. Alright, so to begin the process, I'm going to be laying the body over the car, over the chassis, and I'll be cutting away at the body just a little bit at a time. And there's no reason to eliminate more material than is needed, but I will be removing quite a bit. And at the rear of the body, there's this battery box that is where the drive unit resides, so that will be cut almost completely away. And so also some areas up front, in order to make room for the steering, will be cut away. So yeah, a lot of fitting and cutting, and then fitting and cutting to accomplish what's needed, but we'll go ahead and get into it. So removing the tail section there will provide me access to cutting away this, this battery box here. All right. One battery box removed. All right, so very roughly speaking, I've got it, got the motor and drive unit fitted, so I have to cut away a bit more yet, but yeah, it's looking like it'll be pretty decent. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate the motor backward to get a better feel for the actual positioning of it, and then cut away more of the body. So rotating the motor backward is a simple matter of loosening a couple of Allen screws. And then I can rotate the entire assembly backward and snug those down. Go ahead and cut away some more of the body and then do another test fit. Alright, so the rear fits, and yeah, so I can even clock the drive unit back a little bit further yet. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I will work my way to the front and start cutting away the front for better fitment. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the drive unit as far as it'll go here. see how far back I've been able to lay the drive unit. The motor was initially way up here, and I've been able to lay it back. Now, that's helpful because it allows me to move the seating arrangement back further. So I ordered a plastic seat. I don't know if it's going to fit or not, or if I'm just going to have to make my own, but this will allow me the opportunity to sit back further. And this thing will pull wheelies. I'm going to have to put a wheelie bar on it because even though the battery weight will be centrally located in the chassis, my seat will be basically right up over the axle, so it's going to be very wheelie prone. But yeah, pretty good. I'm going to start cutting away the front end and try and get the entire body laid down on the chassis. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the wheel well as a guide to cut away this front trunk section to provide wheel clearance. There we go. One down, one to go. Number two. All right, so as you can see, that gives us some cutaway for the wheels. Obviously, I'll be cleaning this all up and dressing it up further, but for now, I just trimmed it away. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of the mess, put the chassis back up on the table, and do another fitting. Well, so far, so yeah, I have to obviously cut away more to get not only the front down further, but I'd like to get the rear down further as well. Like to drop the entire thing down just a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more cutting. I also have to remove the factory dashboard here to provide more leg clearance, and the steering will come right up actually out of the middle of the windshield. And I'll explain more about that when I get to that point of the project. But in order for an adult to fit in here, for leg room, you can't have a steering wheel right there. That's right where your knees are. So that requires pushing the steering up through the windshield. Also, your legs will be so cramped in here that typical foot controls won't work. So I've got a novel approach to steering and controls for the car that will again be coming up through the windshield right in this area here. So we'll go ahead and cut away a little bit more and then lay it down further. So you can see that the wheel spacing within the wheel wells is pretty good. I do think the car is sitting a little bit high on the chassis, so I'm going to lower that down and get it everything kind of recessed in a bit better. But yeah, so far it's looking pretty decent. It's going to be interesting to package everything in here as it will be needed. But yeah, coming right along. So I scribed a line. Along the front edge of the chassis, and so I'll be cutting along that line now. And then also I'll be cutting away the floor here to recess the entire car over the chassis. And so I'll be measuring and marking and cutting for that next. Now at this point, I'm gonna measure the width of the chassis rails and then the distance between these body segments, draw a line, and go ahead and cut this portion of the tub away to be able to recess down on the frame. I think we're getting close to having it really set where it's going to be, where it's going to live long term. So I just measured the chassis, and I've got 11 inches between the chassis rails. So we've got 13 inches here. So basically 1 inch in from each end, and I'll go ahead and cut it, and that should drop the body right over the chassis. So we'll go ahead and mark that now. So the width of this ruler is 1.1 inches. So I'm going to use this as a rough guide. Just kind of put it up against the body and scribe a line. So that's just a rough guide, but it'll be enough for me to be able to follow it and cut. I'm going to move these wires as well to try and save those. I'm not sure what they... Actually, you know what? Yeah, those aren't needed. Those are for the original drive system. I just want to protect the headlight wires, so I'll be cutting those to get them out of the way. All right, let's do some more cutting. Forgot my safety glasses. One floor pan removed. Alright, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and lay the body back down on the chassis and see how it looks. I think at this point I can get it down to its expected height and then begin working on how to actually fasten it. Now you'll notice that I've lost some structural integrity. It is still pretty strong, and there are supports. The body it's two panels of support on both sides. So I'll actually be able to put my hands on the sides of the car to lift myself out of it because there's plenty of strength. But there's a little bit of strength loss here, so it will be mounted down firmly to mounts on the chassis to provide structural support. All right, it's beginning to look a little bit better now. So I need to lower the front end just a little bit and raise the rear. And yeah, we should be in business. I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do to, as far as how to lay the body down on the chassis and what will be the best means of supporting it. So I need to do a little bit more cutting away of the front end to get the front down further. And yeah, it's starting to look like a car. I was a little bit concerned about getting this body down in this chassis and losing a lot of the strength, but it's all going to be tied together as almost like a plastic to aluminum frame, sort of almost like a monocoque unibody, although the body will be separable from the lower frame, just sort of by necessity in order to do service on it. So I'm going to go ahead and tip it so you guys can see the underside, at least as it sits so far. So that's what it looks like on the underside so far. What I have to do is cut away more along the front section here to get the front to lay lower. But once that is done, then I can begin fabricating the mount system to get the body to lay down on the chassis properly. So we'll go ahead and trim more of the nose, and yeah, we're getting really, really close at this point. So it's looking good. This obviously will be covered. There'll be either aluminum or a G10 composite lower lower panel to protect the batteries. And then there'll be, above the battery pack, there'll be a solid floor. So we'll let this down, take the body back off, and do some more trimming. That's starting to look pretty good. Pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know that I'd want to go any lower than that. And, yeah, I'm very happy with that stance, I think. And the inside the frunk here is looking pretty good as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to settle on that, or roughly that. Alright, so there it is. There's the stance. Pretty good. I might lift it 1/4 of an inch. I don't know. I kind of like that stance right there, though. So, yeah, it's looking really, really sharp. We'll go ahead and open up the frunk here, and you can see down inside, and lots of good clearance. I will be just shaving a little bit of plastic away to make sure that the front wheel's clear and that full steering lock will be functional. So obviously plenty of room to for my steering along with the steering column. And we'll look down inside there. You can see the drive unit, and it clears the body very easily. And you can see down inside the chassis of the car. There will be a full floor that a grown adult can stand on. And so there is the back along with the drive unit there. Sorry for the glare, the overhead lights, but plenty of room. This bumper, I was considering raising that, but actually the car needs a wheelie bar coming off the back anyway. So the fact that the bumper is hanging beneath the body is fine, because there'll be a pretty hefty wheelie bar coming off the back with small skateboard wheels on the back of that. So yeah, I am very pleased with it. You can see the underside here where the frame, the body is actually laying firm on the frame right there. So it'll be easy to mount, and lots of room up front there. I will be tying the frame into the corner of the body here. There'll be a bumper support coming out there, and to protect the front wheel should I hit something on the side there. But so you can see the body hangs down right to the bottom of where the frame rails would be. The ground clearance is perfect. This chassis, along with the body installed. So there's the underside, kind of holding it up. So just like a full-on street rod build, but in miniature. So yeah, I am very pleased with that. It looks fantastic. Awesome. Couldn't be happier with it. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been a lot of fun showing you guys this process. Next, I'll be fabricating body mounts and getting the body firmly attached. But yeah, it's been great. Definitely looking forward to continuing this now that I can see it sort of all coming together, and I know how I'm going to mount the body and that. I'm getting pretty excited. So anyway, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and yeah, have yourselves a wonderful day. Take it easy.